Alright, let's get going. I think first of all we are going to up this music and switch to... I'll just pause it for now. Boop. And we will get rid of the slideshow and we will launch the game. So we'll actually watch the intro for once it launches, which I have been a bit too quick to cut the slideshow, I think. We should have it launch in a moment. In the meantime, let me pick out my new... I wanted to play this music today. We'll play that in a bit after the game launches. There we go. Let's watch it. Seems to be very quiet. Do I have the game volume turned way down? I might. It's probably playing multiplayer. And Discord is just... Well, any voice chat program is just way too quiet compared to any video game. It's a chronic problem. Anyway, yeah, the plan is to poke around the new maps. Also, I want to test the fix. I want to see how they fix the thing with the cracked terrain. I'm going to do some tests to see how that's implemented, and if it actually is fixed. And at that point, we're going to look at that world map. I have actually, in my own time, already looked at that Tanks world map, but I will do it on stream again because I really like the idea, and I think there's some potential for basically using this blackness on the outside to make sort of round maps in the style of AoE 3. Well, with cracked terrain, you could build a farm on it, and then once you deleted the farm, the terrain was a dead farm terrain and it wasn't cracked terrain anymore, and your buildings wouldn't take the extra damage that they're supposed to from cracked terrain. That was changed in the update, supposedly, and we'll see how they changed it. Once we enjoy the nice cinematic extended intro. I need to find an even better upscaled version of this, because this looked nice at the time, but it hasn't really held up. And AIs can do a better job now than they could even a couple years ago of improving a low-resolution video. I just see pixels everywhere. There's also a video where someone like basically re-rendered it in a different engine, maybe Unreal Engine or something. But unfortunately they cut out parts of the video and then the music cuts a bit. Otherwise I'd make that into a nice intro. Anyway. Alright. Let's turn down the music like that. Get my soundtrack up and running. Alright. So, I actually want to test the thing with the cracked terrain first. So let's see how can we best test this. need some... Layer 2 is gonna get... say, an archery range or something? Just to keep them alive. And... let's say keep. Yeah. Okay. Later one is me. I'm gonna need villagers. Will that be enough to test this? I think so. Alright, first we need some resources. Ninja Louis, there we go. Right, we're in Dark Age. Okay, let's get a mill. Now you can also the auto farm thing. Oh, you can't auto farm until you've built your first mill. Makes sense. So now I could use shift, but we're not actually interested in auto farming. Instead, we need to go to this tower. Not being shot at yet, which is surprising. Alright. Okay. Let's find the other spot. Now, this is the test. I want to see, like, this is clearly still a dead farm. I'm interested. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna build an outpost there, and we're gonna build an outpost there. Alright. They're shooting at the... Alright, so this outpost is taking 85, 76, 66, taking 10, basically about 10 per hit. Wait, I need to move the villagers away so that the villagers aren't being shot at. 42, 32, 23. It's doing like 9 or 10 a hit. Meanwhile, this is taking 23, 13, 3, 49, 48. Yeah, so they seem to be taking the same amount of damage. Also, the cracked terrain is still here. It hasn't been turned into dead farm terrain long term. That's interesting. Let's try this again. Let's also build something else that produces a foundation. I don't know, like barracks. I have too many windows open. Let's close some of this stuff. I don't need that. Don't need that. Way too many windows open. Don't need my friends list right now. So basically, when this farm is destroyed, that's still a dead farm, but I think when the dead farm is gone... Didn't watch. I think building something on the dead farm deleted it. I think that's what happened here. We just leave this dead farm sitting here. Alright, I can't delete a dead farm. It is just a dead farm. I can build on it. It's still a dead farm, though. Ah. I think when I built on it, then the dead farm got deleted and the cracked terrain was back. Let's see how it looks on other terrain. While we are investigating this, we will do a thorough job of it. Let me see how much I have the game turned down here on my volume mixer. Oh yeah, it's super low. We'll turn it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so if I delete this farm now, we have a dead farm. And now if I build on this dead farm, see, this is what happens on other terrain is you get then effectively you change the terrain. So you used to be able to change this cracked terrain. Alright, well they definitely did address that issue, I suppose. Let's do another test. Like, this one also creates a foundation terrain under itself. Yeah, see, it also creates a foundation. Interesting, okay. Wow, that's one question looked at. Now, the next thing we can do is actually look at the new maps. So, I have a list somewhere. Where is it? Not in this folder. Alright, we will start with, well, I guess alphabetical. Fall of Axum has been changed, but I don't. Alright, yeah, no, let's take a look. Let's look at all the maps that have changed in this update. That is a bunch of new maps, as well as one of the Battle Royale maps. They are Fall of Axum. No idea what they changed on this one. Anyway, that's not so important. Let's go for the cliff-bound one. So this is kind of, it's mesas. Looking a bit nicer overall, I'd say. And using cracked terrain. Sort of a ring of forest on the outside. And a reasonably regular shape. Then let's see how it looks for 4 players. I suppose it kind of is effectively a desert version of Socotra. Especially how this one is particularly round. I'd say. Ooh, let's do 8 players on a giant map. So all of these maps are, I believe, well, they're all new. They are all created, looking at the script, it looks like some of them say that they're created by Cruzini, some of them don't, but they all look like they're created by him. So it's a very regular shape, with quite a lot of area occupied by the cliffs. Also, I'm just interested, what happens if we do that? Assuming the game doesn't straight up crash, which it might. Alright, it's just taking a... Ludicrous is not a clever idea, especially when you're working with Brazini maps. Those already take a long time to generate anyway. I mean, looks about the same, with really a lot of resources in the middle. Let's also just for shits and giggles, let's do this. Okay. Of course, fitting this many players on a miniature map is not going to work. See if we did 2 players. Interesting. It really can't work with miniature. Maybe the cliff scaling is dependent on map size. Or they're just the space. There might actually be 4 lands and not 2 lands. Like this could be a fake player land in this one. Cruzini does that in a lot of maps to have more regular spacing of the players. If there are 4 of them, that might restrict the possible cliff positions a lot. So just for reference, this is what I had on Mesas. Of course, this was for AOC, so it's more of the older terrains and palm trees. It's the same idea. This is less regular with these little cliffs jutting out, but sort of the same idea. Forest on the outside. Mine is also a bit more hilly than the new map. Alright, next up, we're going to keep reloading the scenario editor just in case there's some sort of effect that I need to consider. Where's my list of new maps? Dune Springs. Not Alpine Lakes. So we have seen similar maps like this that were made... what was the name of it? I think of a World Desert Championship even. I can't tell you exactly which one. We have seen sort of similar... We've seen a couple that actually have this idea of the shorefish and fish stuff in the middle. There was one that had like 4 corners of resources. In any case, this seems to be reasonably standard. You sort of have an outer ring of resources, you have a middle with way too much fish, and then you have wood lines in 2 rings. Nothing too fancy. Here we've just basically made the whole thing bigger. These maps are designed for 1v1 and actually to be played on Empire Wars, but they also work on not Empire Wars. Alright, let's try... I don't expect anything unusual for the... There are a couple where we know that things will get wacky with more than 2 players. This is not one of those. Oh boy. It takes a while to generate on the larger sizes. So everything there is just a massive amount of shorefish. Everything is just scaled up. The player positions fixed. Oh, I shouldn't have clicked that. This map takes a long time to generate. Yeah, seemed pretty fixed. Fair enough. Load scenario. Then let's look at Golden Stream. Golden Stream. Nope, that's not the one. Well, it's basically another Gold Rush map. Like, it's basically Golden Swamp with the water going all the way, but since this is walkable and buildable, the Mangrove Shallows, effectively this is Golden Swamp, isn't it? I mean, of course with a different terrain set to look more arid, but it's for all intents and purposes Golden Swamp. Yeah, basically. I mean, not quite, but basically. You do have these berry bushes along the stream, it seems. You have the shorefish, which fishing ships don't gather from very quickly, but which you can send your villagers to gather. And you have the gold in the middle. And you have some of your own gold. Now this one will be interesting when we add more players. Will we get 4 streams? Yes. Also, if I... Well, we'll try afterwards. If I load my team version... How will the stream still be 4 streams, or will it only be 2 streams again? It will still be 4 streams. Fine. Like the body of water, it doesn't really matter. Of course, you could build ships and demos on it, but the water, even less so than on Golden Swamp, the water can't really range all that much. So it's not that important, I think. Let's try with 8 players. All of these maps take a long time to generate with 8 players. It's because the script is quite long and uses a lot of actor areas. So, yeah. It's more or less what you'd expect, based on what we've seen so far. Again, if I just switch to Golden Swamp now... I mean... Yeah, okay, it is a bit different in that regard. I think on the larger sizes... The middle island hasn't really been getting much larger. Our golden stream. It basically stayed the same size. So players are going to have to trade. And quite soon, because this isn't all that much gold for an 8-player game. Alright, next up. By the way, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to speak up, or if my audio balance isn't good, I can always fix that. So, what's our next map on the list? Hollow Woodlands. Hollow Woodlands. Alright. Yeah, I mean, there are only so many concepts you can do with a map in AoE 2, at least with one that's going to be used in, you know, a large tournament that needs to be reasonably symmetrical and balanced. This is another concept. I couldn't tell you exactly a map that this is, but we've seen like this small ring of water. We've seen similar things. I mean, here basically it's a big fight for the middle. And you can go to the outside to get a ridiculous amount of food. But like the middle is going to be tricky to wall with the baobabs. And with this stream super close, so it's going to be very aggressive. And you can't really fall back to the outside because there is no golden stone there. Like, you can go to the outside early, but that's not where you need... That's not when you need it. You need it to fall back later. So I think this is going to be a very, very aggressive one. And there's enough resources. I mean, sure, you can build a lumber camp or extra mills on the outside, but the focus is going to be in the center. Let's do 4 players. Yeah, okay, I mean, this one is going to scale up as expected, I'd say. And as expected, it takes a long time to generate. I mean, here even more so, like I mean, there's more room, of course, but it's going to be a battle for the middle, because all of this wood lines, it's not... I mean, even trading out here is quite rough with all of this stuff in the way. Sure, if you get pushed off wood, you can get more wood, but... Oof, gonna be aggressive. Alright, load scenario. Next up, we have Isthmus. Isthmus. Nope. Here. Oh, these are a couple other ones that I wanted to look at some point. So this one has a pyramid. It might actually be worth seeing what the pyramid does, if anything, in game. I'll probably go test that. And we have these little miniature stone islands on the outside. And we have not much player stone. So really, if you want stone, you're going to have to control water. More gold in the middle. Yeah, basically it's 2 water fights. Is the interesting thing here on this map. And despite the fact that the middle looks much wider here, it's still the same width. Now, one other thing we actually need to test here. Let's give me like a fortified wall. That's what I expected. This part there is not... This is rock terrain. Alright. Well, that just makes things much more aggressive. Are there times... Oh, there are... Huh. There are places where you can wall across. That... I'll send that to Grazini. That might be something to fix. I mean, the idea surely is that you're not able to wall anywhere. It kind of defeats the purpose of having that rock terrain if you're gonna not make it everywhere. Although, quite a few places actually where you can... There's some... Okay, so here it was over the corner where I did it, and here I connected it to one of these reeds. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna pass on as feedback. Also, something else I just noticed, so the islands are 4, it's 4 to 1 this time. Let's generate it again. 2 to 3. 2 to 3. So, one of the oceans is always more valuable than the other, but you won't know which until you've built a dock. Also, it's debatable whether you can even fit a mining camp. Well, that's rough. Alright. Piece of feedback number 2, no room for a mining camp. Yeah, that's not great. I'll pass that on as well. I'm not looking in detail at like the resource distribution to make sure it's fair every time. So I think the walling across with the trees, that'll be possible. Not always, but sometimes if you're lucky. Okay, here two islands have merged. Fine, and at least you can build a mining camp. Alright. This one also looks questionable. You can probably fit it right there. That's probably the only spot you can fit one. Alright. Let's try more people. This is where it gets interesting. I'm actually gonna take it slow here. We do miniature, then it just... These maps are not set up for miniature. Fine. But if we add 3 players... Because this map does some interesting things with more players. So here everyone's connected to the center. Oh, we've got like 4 lakes here, we got 2 here, or 4 islands, 2, 1. Alright, of course, you can have things where these two have a lot of stone to fight over. This guy has access to a lot less. But where it really gets interesting was with more players. This was said, though, in the update notes as well, that this is one of the 3 maps that isn't specifically designed for more than 2 players. You know, you could have players that don't have access to the center. And we don't even have teams set up, but if we did, it still would look inconsistent like that. Alright, let's try with 6 players. Let's take 6 players. Of course, it could be fun for casual games. But you have fun situations like this. Like this I'm not going to report. Of course, they're aware of this. This was specifically mentioned that it's not consistent for more players. It's something to be aware of, though, if you pick this map to play in a lobby. Now this guy's not even attached to the outside at all. I can certainly have some interesting effects where you have certain bodies of water that are cut off or not cut off, or certain players that are on their own island or not. Definitely interesting. Let's try one more. Oh, look at this one. Yellow is attached to the center. Like, if this is King of the Hill or something, yellow just goes for it. Everyone else's boats and teams up on yellow, and yellow doesn't win. But these stone islands are also completely... That's actually worth noting, that on larger sizes, the stone islands... I'm gonna start a notepad document with stuff. So with notes. Come on, give me there we go. Nope. Yeah, okay. So isthmus possible to wall sometimes. Islands can be too small for mining camp. Islands spawn. Islands too small for stone. With more players. Like, it's fine from my view that the layout is not consistent, but the fact that none of these islands have room for stone, that I would say is an issue. Because you're giving players less stone than normal. Right, you know, there's a bunch of stone and that's it. These poor islands are not going to spawn any stone. And players only start with, you know, that and a 3 pile forward. 5 tiles of stone. Alright, let's do 8 players. Let's do it on a huge. Let's do it on the proper 8 player size. Same thing here. You have some very fun generations where honestly it could be interesting to look at the code to see how this is set up. I think there are a bunch of fake lands again, perhaps. Where between each player, each of these points is also a land. I would suspect that that's how it was implemented. Maybe. Oh, this one we need to actually go and generate on Ludicrous just to see what it looks like. It's gonna take like 2 minutes to generate, but just for fun. And then you look at this. This island has all of the stone. Yeah, the stone distribution on larger sizes is questionable. Are they connected at the back? No. Okay. Let's go for it. Take a while. Now, I wonder what the pyramid is for. I mean, it might just be a thing, you capture it and it just joins the first player that's there. Better would be if you capture it and it's indestructible, it gives line of sight or something. Or you train, Mamelukes or something from the pyramid. That's probably not going to be the case. Perhaps shouldn't be. Well, doesn't disappoint in terms of being unexpected in the layout. We have the Sea of Stone over here. There's seas of stone everywhere. Alright, let's test this one in single player. We'll see what the pyramid does. Two players. Standard will do. Standard. Give me random. I'll take. Standard. It was called Isthmus, right? Allow cheats, good. Alright, well, the center isn't visible at the start.
Okay, please.
Let's speed this up. Alright, the pyramid appears to be just decoration. You cannot attack it. It has mega armor. You can't capture it either, though. Okay. If I go aggressive, is it going to attack the pyramid? No. Alright, cool. Oh, there's another thing, too, actually, that I wanted to test. So, all your scouts have auto-scout now. Now, in a map script, it's possible to give other units the auto-scout ability. Like in Hyper Random, if you start with an archer, that archer will auto-scout. Now, the question is, in Hyper Random, if you start with an archer, will it now be such that every archer you train can auto-scout? That was one more thing that I need to test with this update, because that might necessitate some changes for me. That'll do. We started with a hunting wolf. That's all fine and dandy, but I need an actual trainable unit. I wonder if I could give the junk the ability to auto-scout. That's a cool idea. Give boats auto-scout. What I'm probably gonna have to do is then... oh. Sorry. Only give auto-scout to units that are never trainable. I am getting slightly sidetracked, but I do want to solve this. Let's see if we can just random a scout. No, that's not it. Let's make this... Alright, I know how we can force a better scout. Let's do... Hyperendum Walled. We started with a camel scout, and it doesn't even have auto scout. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, okay. Out, missing, auto scout. Alright, I'm gonna have to investigate that. That's not what I want. Alright, we have a scout that can scout. Oh, that's good. We have an Ismail that can auto-scout. That's fine, but Ismail isn't a trainable unit. Come on, give me like a knight or something. Otherwise, I'm just going to edit the script too. Alright, we have a siege tower. Okay, fine, we can work with this. Ninja Louis. Give me a mill. Give me a lumber camp. Give me another villager. Speed up time. Actually, let's do, Alright. We need a siege workshop, which is going to require a blacksmith. We're not in Castle Age yet. Damn. Build like something. Give me a market. The reason why I'm turning this off again is because the AI also gets the benefits of this cheat. I don't want to be overrun. Alright, so this siege tower can auto scout, and this is just a normal siege tower. I can presumably load spearmen into it. Let's test that. If I train a new siege tower, is that one also going to have auto scout? Is the big question. Get in. Wait, can they... Is this... Which units can get into a siege tower? Can spearmen not get into a siege tower? Which units can get into a siege tower then? What have I done? Maybe I broke the siege tower by turning it into a scout. There's the icon. What have I done? Let's try some archers. They clearly don't want to get into either siege tower. Both siege towers have auto scout, and neither has the garrison capacity. I guess I'm just gonna have to not give auto scout to special scouting units. Huh. Siege towers broken. I'll note that down to fix in my own time. It's probably the traits. That attribute, scout type, attribute traits. I probably broke something about that. Alright, we're gonna have to disable that in the next version of Hyper-Random for sure. But for now, it's good to know that we can have auto-scouting siege towers that can't transport units over walls. Well, actually, no, specifically, that auto-scout, if applied to a different unit line, can break things about that unit, and also will now apply to any further ones that are trained. Yep. Alright. Nope. We want the editor. There we go. So, the next map on our fine list of maps is Karsts with a K. Yeah. Alright, this has these little bits of unbuildable terrain. Also, let's just select one of these. Gaia. Why does it... Okay, I guess I can't select them, but they are just rocks. Probably there's unbuildable terrain underneath, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah, there is unbuildable terrain underneath. You can't build on these flecks here that are green on the minimap. Yeah, otherwise it's a pretty standardish looking map. Not all that much in the way of wood lines. Also, these golden stone things, this has been done in other maps. It looks cool. It makes sense, of course, that you would have golden stone next to rocky areas. In game, it's a bit tricky because of this reason. Namely, you build your mining camp here, and then your villagers might gather, you know, stone or gold when you want them to gather a specific one. Like, you build your mining camp there, then you have to manually assign your villagers to the resource. That's why this can be a bit annoying for players. But it looks nice. Like, I've done that somewhere as well. What was it? Geothermal Valley. There we go, that's the one. Sort of same idea there. Where then you have to be very careful assigning your villagers to make sure they actually gather from the desired resource. Alright, let's go back to Karsts, though. I don't expect this one to do anything unusual when we add more players. Other than take longer to generate. To be honest, it's just a different looking open land map. You have your woodlands centered around yourself, all the other woodlands are pretty small. fair amount of gold, actually. Although, it's all individual piles, but the golden stone does add up. What could also be the case, I don't think it's the case here, but there are golden stone rocks that turn into gold or stone mines when you start mining them with villagers. They look like rocks, but then villagers start mining them. I don't think that's the case on this map. That's also true. Well, even more so because the rocks are on unbuildable terrain, right? So if there's any terrain poking out, then... If I just do this, I have to be in the right section. Let's see here. Let's find ourselves. Okay, so these are just actual rocks. Fine. Where's my... I want a karst. Give me a karst. There we go. So, okay, these are just actual rocks, not the special gold or stone rocks. So, you know, you go boop, and then these villagers are going to go for gold. Yeah, that seems fine as a map. There are these hidden rock objects, right? They look like gold. They look like rocks, but they're actually gold and stone mines. That would be something you could do on a custom map: is have a few gold around so that players know that there's gold in the other rocks, and then the villagers will just keep on mining the other rocks. Alright, next up we have Mountain Dune. You probably can. Like, if you task them to go gather a resource after they're done building, they will go to that. Which is what you might have to do if they're too close to each other. Pretty sure you can do that. Alright, so Mountain Dunes, got a hill. And then you have a horrible amount of dunes that you'll never be able to build a town center on. Except for these two stone pits. I like, though, that you can see where the dunes are with the different color on the minimap. Yeah, well. These are also super high. Like, this is elevation 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is like 16 or something. Making use of the unlimited base elevation trick. Let's add 4 players. Yeah, you can probably put everything except a TC. Also, the dunes are a bit tamer on larger sizes, it seems. Just noticed. TC requires being absolutely flat. And then something like a castle can't fit everywhere, but you can still fit on smaller slopes, so you'll probably be fine. So we could go back. You know what? Let's do 2 players again. I'm gonna have this disaster, of course, to chop a few trees, but if we build a... Like, nah, you have to look a bit, but you'll find a spot to put it. That's no issue, but if you try a town center, it's not gonna work at all. Other than... Okay, I mean, here we have 4 players on a 2-player map, but it would be hard-pressed to find a place where you can fit a town center. So it's the typical Grazzini trick, again, of having the fake player lands. And I think the hills are just less. More players. Right, 8 players. There we go. Doo-ba-doo. Ah. The stone has moved towards the middle. Interesting. Thought it was between players on smaller sizes. The hills have become very tame, where you'll definitely be able to build town centers out here now. Interesting. Okay, maybe I wonder what his trick is for these lands with the stone, because this doesn't look like fake player lands after all, but it does seem to be some sort of lands. It's just a ring of lands at this point. Yeah, that's the thing. I think maybe for certain numbers of players, he doesn't do the player lands anymore, and it's just a ring of neutral lands. Yeah, 4 players, these are player lands. We do 6 players. We could also take a look. So 6 players is already there. Let's try 5 players. I can... let's see. Notepad++. Where is it? 5 players still uses this. Alright. Let's just search for 6 player. Yeah. So he has different code for 6 or more players. And then these... If player hills... Wait. Oh, okay. If player hills is the second set of player lands, if middle hills, it's direct positioning. Seems. For each size. Alright. Fair enough. I guess a hybrid approach makes sense. Might need more hills for the larger sizes. Let's just, for fun again, break the game. Trying to compute 10 million actor areas. Okay, so there's no neutral stone except for those flat areas. But plenty of neutral gold. Well, okay, the hills do not scale enough for larger sizes. Those are some lonely looking hills now. Alright, next map. Load scenario. The next one is River Divide. It is. It is. And I have to say, I've very rarely played it in any sort of game. Like with friends, you pick normal sizes normally anyway. River Divide. We've seen this map, actually. We've seen Crazini maps that look like this. Not quite. Maybe it didn't have rivers. There was one where this was stone. What was it called? I even worked on this map. In any case, this time it has rivers. Rivers are very narrow. Let's see if we can waltz the edge. Give me a palisade wall. Alright, you can waltz the edge. You can probably dock block, honestly. Although it's only shorefish, so you do probably dock block anyway, just to keep the enemy docks out. I do a better job of dock blocking. That, and then they sail around the beaches and you're annoyed, but you can waltz the docks. Yeah, you would have to wall the beaches as well, which you can do. The beach, it looks like they can actually get partially up onto the slope. If I'm seeing it correctly. Oh. Yeah. Although they'd only be getting an elevation bonus versus ships. I guess other ships that they're fighting. That could be an issue. Maybe I'll note that down as something to give us feedback as well. River thing. What's the name of this? River divide. Ships on elevation. Other than that, what is it? It's just basically some extra resources on the sides. This one is going to be another fun one to see how it scales up with more players. I'm guessing not very well. Because these are also player lands. Okay, 3 players works. Okay, and I see what's happening here, I think. Is these neutral lands are only connecting to each other. Or connecting to the middle or something. Probably connecting to each other. So they go for the shortest. Look at that too. Connection? Okay, they're connecting to non-player lands. Yeah, they're connecting to each other. No, create connect on. The players are connecting to non-player lands. Isn't this broken? I thought this only makes connections with the land belonging to player 1. Maybe it's been fixed. I can't actually edit here. Okay. Interesting. Alright, let's add more players. Actually, let's do the same thing. I'm gonna load my 2v2. It would make sense if you wanted to support team games to then set the zone by team. Probably. But I think you probably didn't do it here. Nope. Yeah, and now things start to go wild. It's fine though because there's shallows everywhere, but like this poor player. I mean, he can wall himself off, but I'd rather wall off, you know, this amount of wood than this amount of wood. Yes, it would be nice if we could just connect lands by ID or something. That would be. Well, you can of course manipulate it a bit, but there are limits to that. Fun stuff here. You do also start with a transport ship. Well, I say that, where's Blue's transport ship? If you're not Blue, you start with a transport ship. Or the Blue transport ship is... oh, it's far away, it's over there. Okay. Well, let's do 8 players for maximum craziness. And maximum generation time. So it's the same trick that he used for Isthmus, more or less. And it seems it just doesn't work all that well for a large number of players. Maybe if you set each of these to be their own... oh, they all have to share a zone though because they're player lands. You could have them all have their own zone. All of the green lands here share a zone. And I suppose all of these share a zone as well. You could have them all have their own zone, maybe. Maybe then you wouldn't have these weird loops. So I think there's a relic always in the exact center. No, it's a well, not a relic. Alright, next map. No, they don't. They don't specifically share a zone with team. I think they're just... it's the same zone as all of the other players, which is why they're connected. But if they were... how... I mean, it could be by team. No, if it were by team, then we'd see a divide between the teams, which we didn't on the 2v2. Sand drift. Random map. This has the quicksand terrain, which you can't build on. And we still have 4 players. Oops. Give them the 4-player amount of space. Let's see if I still have the Diplo set up here, yeah. And there would have been potential to have some of these things be team zones and just have like a team river rather than individual ones. But I don't think he did that anywhere. Also not on this map. This one is awkward. Oh, wow, this is also awkward. It seems that some sort of placeholder terrain has been left over. Placeholder terrain. And drift. But if we ignore that, so I think you can't build close to your TCs either. It's like the maps that have shallows around the TC. That's going to be mega awkward at the beginning. This is true. They look good with the Dirt 1 terrain specifically. And alright also with this Dirt 4. You also have some cracked terrain here again. As I don't think you were there earlier in the video, but I did test, and they changed it so nothing leaves a foundation on cracked terrain. If you build on a dead farm, the dead farm disappears and the cracked terrain reappears. So you can no longer delete cracked terrain. This seems to be a common issue with the placeholder terrain left over. Oh, yeah, alright. I know they're designed for 1v1, but since they're official maps, you don't want to have this type of stuff sitting around. Let's do 8 players. Well, it'll be a difficult map to wall. Because you have cracked terrain, you have the quicksand terrain that you can't build on. Yeah. Next up, we have Shrubland. We are nearing the end of these. Well, there are a lot of S maps. This one has cliffs in the middle. That's basically the inverse, or well, sort of the inverse idea of the one of the cliffs on the outside. It also has a ring of unbuildable terrain, which I'm pretty sure you won't be able to build on. It wouldn't be there if you could build on it. Yeah. And then ridiculous amounts of berries. Now the question is, doesn't this make like Franks or Portuguese too strong? I mean, berries don't gather that fast, but if you have an infinite supply of them, or you wall off your corner. Yeah, we had a couple here with this ring around the outside. This cliff stuff in the middle, I did that on a water map once, but that way I haven't seen much. The unbuildable ring, though, we've definitely seen quite a few times. Do I have a cliffscape in here? Don't think I have it in here. Cliffscape. In mods full. Cliffscape. Cliff rush. Let's copy that one in too. Somewhere. Copy it into DRS random app scripts. Okay. DRS game data x2. Alright. Let's try 4 players. I mean, it's basically hideout, right? Except you can't chop through the middle. You also can't wall the outside, though. I don't know. I mean, we've seen it. The only difference from other versions of this is that you can't get through the middle, and that you have berries instead of wood on the outside. Which is quite ridiculous, actually, with the number of berries that we have there. Okay, it does generate fine for larger sizes. I wonder if this is going to be okay with Franks. Wow, you secure your own eco with tiny walls, and then this... You can probably wall off a corner. Still though, yeah. They're not quite as big as wood lines, so you do have big gaps to wall. Alright, the final map is the passage. Let's actually go for... Let's just... Yeah, I did this trick a long time ago when I was first experimenting with cliffs. You have to have sort of fake water on the outside in order to force the cliffs into the middle. Or you can keep the water on the outside, as I did. Same idea-ish. About that circular, what you're saying, all maps should be circular. I'll show you, I've set something up that I think works a bit better than the circle you made. Maybe I haven't actually tested it, but I think you could definitely make like a Circle Arabia. You could make a Circle Arena. Anyway, let's do the last, the Passage, I think it's called. No, Passage? No, the Passage. Okay, this is basically the third map using Rosini's fancy double player lands trick. I like how the beach sort of gradually merges into the middle. Yeah. You start with a tower and a dock. Okay, this one's interesting because it's basically islands. Except you can't sail on the outside. It's a river, actually, but full water map. I really like what he did with the beach, sort of working its way inward. Yeah, most of the wood should be safe. Actually, well, yeah, most of it should be safe. Also, it looks cool here with the river with the different terrains. The relics on here, I guess these are mini bits of shallows, so you unload. You unload on the shallows and grab the relics. That's an interesting touch. I think with 4 players is where it starts getting... I'm going to load my 2v2 map version again. Rebuilt 2v2 scenario. The Passage. This is where things get wild. And it's suddenly not an islands map anymore. But a weird community games map sometimes. I think for the smaller versions it effectively ends up avoiding the player lands as well. Or the beach because there isn't enough room. Wow. Okay. Downsizing the map is not a good idea. Nope. Alright, it's fixed. Oh! Actually, these are not real wood lines. This is a second fake land. Okay, so he's done something extra clever here. These are objects placed. These aren't forests. These are tree objects placed on a second fake land. So when you only have 2 players to make the land wider, he has basically has 6 fake player lands, or 4. I mean, not what happened before, but this I think is supposed to happen. I'll reload, just to be safe. But I think I see what he's done here. He's done 1 fake land to make the lands bigger, and 1 fake land to make the water. Yeah, because this area doesn't show the trees on the mini-map. So these aren't. And I guess it's okay because no one's gonna go lame your trees. I mean, you could lame them all, but pfft. That's why it looks like it's staying away from the coast on the mini-map. Oh, that's fascinating. He's done a very convincing job of placing the trees on it. It's just the mini-map gives it away. Let's try this again with 3 players. I think we only have it for 2 players, though. Yeah, there's no fake player land for any more players. Could have just spawned a forest. You could have just you can have forests not avoid player start areas. There's actually no reason why you would need to have the fake player land be not have forests directly on it. Yeah, they can avoid the first town center, but let's go back to the 1v1. I think it isn't necessary what he's done. Unless you want it so that you can delete trees, but I don't think that's desirable. Yeah, you would need you could have a different terrain. Right? You could have 2 different terrains, and the forests avoid the player start areas on this terrain, but they don't avoid it. Well, then you place forests on this terrain, and then you place forests on the top terrain, and these here don't need to avoid the player start area, and then you wouldn't need the fake trees. I think you could do that. Trees on the passage. Because this will be confusing for players on the minimap. I mean, maybe there's an issue then that you end up with like strips of beach or something in the middle. Yeah, there might be other concerns as well. We actually need straggler trees and to show up on the minimap. That would be the right solution. Like they do on Capture Age. Interesting. I guess it's the same terrain, it's avoiding both of them. It's probably because of the beaches and other things. Somehow it wouldn't work out with having different terrains. Or you'd have woodlines that are cut off. Alright. That's good. now we can... Now we can look at your map, actually. So I looked at it in my own time to see how you set it up. Actually, it's... If you're gonna do it Nomad, you're gonna do it on the Giant. Random world. There we go. So you have a couple things like the water elevation. That's hard to avoid though with the way you've done it. The outside works fine until you get to smaller sizes. And you have these long strips on the outside, but I think that looks okay. It's fun to do that. Let's see if I can pull it up. It's somewhere. Mods. Oh my goodness. Mods. Local. Oh, we need it's under subscribed. Fate modified. Random world nomad. Okay, let's pull this thing up. So if we just take a seed that looks nice, this one, then we go yeah, so you've got different terrains and you've overridden it to only do certain sizes. That's a sensible thing to do when your map depends on it being a certain size. Alright, this is... yeah, that's the initial ring. With the positions? Oh, later on. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. I think there's another way to do it where you make sure that they avoid other lands with min placement distance, and then you don't have to give them random coordinates. Although the random coordinates works as well. Yeah, so you do that. You make a ring and then you do a bit of replacement to make that all dark, and these are just size 2 size. These are all okay, make the med water smoother. This fills the corners up and then this makes it a bit smoother. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, then you start creating a bunch of lands with random sizes and random avoidances. And the position is just anywhere. And this works out pretty well to create the rivers that you'd see in like a real world situation, because they all have some sort of avoidance distance, even if it is random. Then let's do all of the mainland ones until we get to water. Yeah, okay, this one had quite a few big lands. Sometimes they're not as big, I think. You end up with all the rivers. I'm not seeing any terminate. It's because the lands have bases that are close to each other, maybe, and that are then intersecting. Actually, right now the rivers aren't terminating yet. I think when you're spawning islands or replacing some of it later, yeah. Because so far, these don't terminate. Oh, you can have some really snaky rivers. Alright. You have double enclosed islands. I like just the patterns that are being produced, and this is just AoE2's map generation doing its work. Then you do water, 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 water. Yeah, that's... So that basically just replaces... Well, actually, it adds waterlands, right? That's what it does. So you have a couple waterlands again to make sure that you have lakes and oceans. They can be bigger or smaller as well. I was thinking if it would be possible to add connection generations to make like sensible crossings, but it's hard because you have a bunch of other areas that you can't really be connecting to. You have other lands on the outside, so I don't think that works. Yeah. Elevation, that's just some hills. I think the water on the slopes happens later when you're adding additional water. It's not happening here yet. It's because you say flat terrain only, which makes sense, but the game doesn't really fully respect that. So deep water, midwater, islands. Okay, so we think the islands are perhaps mainland. That those are making rivers terminate. Let's try that one. Yeah, okay, that gets rid of a lot of the rivers. That's the same seed. Because it's the same terrain as mainland, so it doesn't need to do the spacing. Doesn't affect it. It doesn't need to stay away from it. So it can create... Effectively, it's not creating islands. Which is fine. It looks good the way it is. With some rivers and some fake rivers and so on. Yes, yeah, exactly. That's the problem. You can only keep it away from slopes if you also say that it needs to avoid spacing to other terrains. Exactly. But then that might not work with the other things you're doing. Yeah, I think the terminating rivers are fine. Very random map. Alright, let's go. Okay, then there's more water crossings. Mangrove Islands, water, water. That's just water mixing. Let's go here until we add lakes. So this is just some of the terrain replaced with shallows, which works. Gives you some crossings in certain places, not others. Oh, another thing I was wondering, actually, is if players can dock the outside. You could land a villager. No, you can't because water's too deep. I'll check that later when we uncommon everything. You can hide villagers on the outside. You can't get to the probably super far out, but you might be able to hide them on the edge of the world. Okay, so far so good. Then lakes is just this is the one that's creating the sloped water. I have to find a lake though. Yeah, like this. The question is if we did spacing to other terrain types 1. We're creating water on mainland. If we did that now. You could do that. Get rid of the water slope. think that still works overall. Because although something about it. Height limits counts as 0 to 1. Set flat terrain only. That one only works if you have a spacing. That's the problem. Yeah. I think that would do the trick. Probably. Yeah, it seems to have worked. Then let's go on. The beaches? Yeah, okay, you do this stuff with the leaves and in and out. I'm just gonna skip until deserts. That's relatively clever what you're doing there. And it does work. You end up with sort of this discontinuous beach. It's fine if the beach is a bit sloped. Whatever, and you end up with lots of shallows and bits of desert on the beach. Yeah, so that works with set flat terrain. That works. The problem is if you don't want spacing to other terrain types, if you want a spacing of 0, then you're out of luck. Then you have to try to do things some other way. Alright, then we have the deserts, the hilltops, tropical zones, savanna zones. Go right in front of forests. I mean, this stuff is fine. Of course, you end up with sometimes, you know, snow areas right next to deserts and so on. One idea there could be to have each of the lands that you create at the beginning be a different terrain, but then that makes everything a lot more complicated with creating the lakes and so on, so I don't know how well that would work. But then you could have like a cold continent, a desert continent, and so on. But I don't think that would work so well. I like the rivers. It's a really cool map. Yeah, in the beach part. This is true. That might not be... Might be possible to avoid, I don't know. If you tell something that it needs to be on a flat terrain, but that's not going to do... Tricky. I'm not sure that'll be so easy to avoid in that case. Because the spacing will then mess things up if you add it. That you might just have to live with. It's not as much on the slopes, though. Then forests. Lots of randomness. Which we will skip. Forest mixing. Let's go here. Yeah, I like it. And then I'm just gonna spawn all the objects. Yeah, it's unfortunate that you can't spawn pre-garrison transport ships. But I suppose this works. Oh, you do have... This is touching the edge, I guess, because it doesn't have the black terrain to avoid. I noticed this happening occasionally. I don't think it matters, though, right? Wow. I still don't think it matters, despite the fact that you could do that. Yeah, I'm guessing something like that is happening. I mean, your rocks are number of objects. If we just, I mean, well, the actor areas are causing issues, but just go. How'd I end up with a CR? No, no. Why do I have a CR? Where is this coming from? Anyway, if I did that, same seed, the game is thinking about crashing. That did not fix it. Maybe it's the actor area from the players or something is blocking it? Hmm. You could ungarrison the unit there, but it would be vulnerable. There's no... I think that's not an issue. Wondering what's going on here, though. Scale by... Is that scaling? Scaling to map size? Probably your actor area is probably not in those areas. Maybe. Let's test that. If I get rid of this. I mean, yeah, I think players will probably play on either this size or the 8-player size, usually. Okay, the rocks don't want to play placed on other terrains. Fine. So, if I go down one size, then it works fine. I guess that's what the size that you were actually designing it on. You can add enough to make sure that it's full. Terrain blocker. Oh, you're putting terrain blockers on Mangrove Shower? Ah, that could be. You're putting these here? Ah, although this is quite a lot of them. 502. The rocks are being placed in... Right. These... area. I don't know if something can be placed in multiple actor areas. Let's give them all the same actor area. Let's see if that fixes it. No. Alright, should be enough. Should be enough, shouldn't it? Oh, I guess you only have one of these, okay. Oh, what did I do? Go away. Nope. Did full screen, whoops. 20. There is another option, though. If you don't need the rock. Okay. I think that actually did it. Nope. Well. That's... No. Why is it doing that now? Probably because I messed with the other things with the... Go back to all of this. You could give them all an ID. That's true. How else? Alright. I have an idea. Let's see what's going on here. I don't think... It doesn't seem to be a lack of actor areas as such. They have a radius of 3. So that should be fine. No idea what's going on. You have a terrain blocker here. Terrain block. Radius of 3, radius of 3. Radius of 3. And you're placing them... We want to place them in the DLC black actor area. Let's try that. I am not sure why it's happening. Ah. Alright. That actually fixed it. So, yeah, I think you can only place in one actor area at the same time. And it was then being placed into the actor area of the deep water. And if there wasn't deep water nearby, or something, then it wasn't being placed there? Maybe? Yeah, that's fixed. And then, yeah, on the small sizes you have a different set of problems where the lands are escaping. Yeah, it was probably something like that. Like, that's fine still on 4 players. Yeah, no, sometimes this stuff happens. Which I'm not going to investigate. But... Anyway, looks cool. I like the map. And now, I did something as well. Which is... round map. So I used the image to RMS thing to basically fill the corners with a bunch of tiny lands. And then put this blocking unit, which units can't walk into. On the DLC black. Give player 2 a castle. Player 1... It's my Cobra car. There we go. I did this on a different map with this blocking unit. It took a while to get the right one, but with this one you actually... They can't escape, so you could just, even without rocks... Although you'll have a beach on your map if there's water on the outside, but on a land map, you can just make it so it's like an edge. And then you could have AoE 3 style round maps, is what I was thinking. So then we need something to paste in there. But I had an idea. Not this. Not this. We got mods, local. Circle arena. I just... Let's generate it for two... Let's generate it for 4 players to begin with. Like I want to see how easy it is to just make other maps circular. Won't work for all maps, of course, but something like this could theoretically be a circle. So I would need to grab all of this code. That. Then we need our excessively large stack of... Scroll. I had to make them size 2 so they wouldn't have gaps on Ludicrous, or actually just any size that's bigger than, I think, Colossal. So we create the player lands first, I suppose. And then we go boop. Let's just see what that looks like. The same seed. Yeah, that's fine. Fine so far. If I just uncomment this shit. Kind of works. Like, you need the players a bit closer to the center to not have them directly up against the edge of the map. And then you need the blocker. I feel like there's potential. I guess, I need to make things a bit further inward. Also, there seem to be some other issues with this map that I didn't never fully resolved with the circular walls. Oh, I think, no, this is because of the stuff on the outside. I'm doing some sort of avoid other lands or something like that. That's why this is now happening. Maybe I can't do it on this map. Here, it messes with the circular walls again. I'd have to find some way to block off this area to keep these gates from spawning. Alright, it's a fun thought exercise. Let's undo that for now. Yeah, the extra gates are fine now. Alright, I'd have to adjust things. What other map could I do where we could make the outside circular? Yeah, I mean, one idea would be to override the map size. Make all of them one size larger. And then make them circular. We did... Let's take an easy version of Arabia. Like, if you have something like this... Snow Arabia. Let's paste it into here, and then maybe we can try overriding the map size to make it one size bigger. I wonder if I could just take all of this and stick it at the... Well, I don't really want base train grass, no. Cliffs are gonna spawn? Well... Take a look at that, but yeah. They don't need to be DLC black as such, of course. They could be ice. Although I have a lot of ice on this map, maybe ice is not a good choice. Some sort of placeholder that's water, that would be fine. If we did something like this... Let's take a look at the cliffs. There's also a risk that the players end up too far on the outside because they're not using circular placement. Or the circular placement is too small. The cliffs, for some reason or other, I think they avoid all lands, not just player lands. So the cliffs are fine because I have lots of individual lands rather than just a few fillers. This is a bunch of density 1 lands. Some players are too close to the map edge. That's a bigger issue. So... We would need to override the map size to make it bigger. We also want the... Oh my goodness. We want the players to use circle radius anyway. Circle radius. Like 35 with a variance of 5 or something. Yeah, you definitely need to use circle radius for sure. That's why these gray is too close to the edge there. It's taking longer to generate because of the connection generation, but we can deal with that. Alright, first let's take a look at circle radius though. That's land generation. What did I say the defaults are for this? Let's do 40. We will do 40 with a variance of 5. Then we're going to go into... where is it? There is no connection generation. Well, it just takes a long time because there are a bunch of lands. Yeah, we'll need to increase the map size. Move the players out a bit. You could probably have some sort of actor area or something to have resources avoid the very edge if you want. You don't really need to. We do need to deal with this mess in the middle, though, so... What's the area of a square relative to the area of a circle? Area of a square... Some sort of, like, 2 pi... Circle's area 2 pi r is defined as being equal to the square's area around the radius of the square side. So pi radius squared equals side squared. Isn't there a ratio for this? Area ratio. One minus pi. Yeah, 1 to pi. 1 to pi over 2. Yeah. Alright. Well, if we want to make the size larger, steal some code from HyperRandom. Yeah, Google knows if you ask it correctly, and that's... Area squared... yeah, whatever. Let's just increase it by 1 size. That's the easy way to deal with this. So I would do something like... Which section does override map size need to be in? It's in player setup, isn't it? Oh, where is... No, you can use it anywhere. Right, okay. Fine and large map. Something along those lines. And then I'm going to run into the issue probably that I say stuff like if tiny map. Where else do I check for? Well, let's check for map. Yeah, technically I'd have to fix all of this shit as well. Let's not do that yet and just do this. And if. Tiny map is still true, but it's... That's a better like, that's... Just very vaguely doing this. Like, that's a decent spacing of forests. Perhaps a bit too dense still even, but... We now did 4 players on a 4-player size. Let's just... Go to 2v2. Like, with enough dedication, I think you could make a full map pack of circular maps. Not all standard maps, of course, work, but there are quite a few where it would work. this was decent enough as an Arabia. If we just compare it to... Well, then... Okay, that's not a fair comparison. If we compare it... Okay, we'll compare it to this Arabia anyway. Okay, that's a bit more open these days. If we compare it to AOC Arabia... Bigger wood lines. I mean, it's a larger map, of course, so the wood lines are probably the same size. They just look smaller on the mini-map. Could be cool. I mean, for Capture the Relic or for Battle Royale, it makes a lot of sense. Or King of the Hill. You may capture the relic, but you have multiple relics. I think we should make a circle map pack. You can have... That basically looks like Arabia, more or less. And then you have no... Like, especially for team games, there's no advantage to spawning close to a corner or a disadvantage. Trade will be a bit awkward, but... What other maps would lend themselves to this? Nomad. If I have a nice Nomad map, we could easily work into this. Let's just take... we'll take the AOC Nomad. Yeah. Let's turn this into a circle map as well. Hideout would be a good one too, yeah. I want to pick maps that where the script is not too complicated, so I don't have to mess with the Cruzini script. Those are a pain. If I did Hideout, we could do Hideout even. I'd have to copy it. Let's try Hideout. I will make a Hideout clone. Put that one into somewhere. Random app scripts folder. Oh. There we go. So we take our round map code. Yeah, water maps might need a bit more to block off the shore, either with rocks or something. good. Land generation. We're creating woodies. We're creating land E. That's in the middle. Whatever. Be fine. We need our blockers. Put those before we generate any other objects. And we need our expand the map sizes. Put that there. We'll also put it in the round map. Alright. Nope. What did I do? I did not save changes. I also did... No, now it should work. No. I mean... The borders... As long as the borders are the same... Not a big issue. They are scaling to the map edge, of course. That's a round hideout. I would say this works. Is it though? I guess because the map is larger. Oh, also the official hideout doesn't do this very smartly, so you can have the side totally blocked. That's something that can be fixed separately, though. By just using a different forest type here on the outside. So if I look at this critically, and then we switch to... Maybe it doesn't... Maybe hideout doesn't actually need to expand in size. I'd say it looks similar in size. So relative to the whole map, of course, it is. Takes up more space because it's larger. But I suppose you could just shrink it. Somewhat. That gives you enough area to play around with. Maybe even 22 is good. Scandinavia. You laugh. It'll probably work. How is it gonna work? Yeah, those are the types of maps that'll be harder to do. We could try Scandinavia just for fun. Like this just works surprisingly well. Alright, Scandinavia. we're gonna have to specify that these side lands... Well, there are no side lands. It's just the middle avoids the sides. True. True. I think on Arabia even there is some spacing. That is true. And there won't be an easy way to address that either. There just won't be forests attached to the map edge then. You could... That's going to be tricky too. Alright, let's try Scandinavia though. Need a copy of Scandinavia. Yes. Yes. We'll do modern Scandinavia. Yeah. Paste. Nice ice field. Alright, so now we do... We'll start with 1v1. Small ice fields. Now we just copy all of this. It could all be fine-tuned, but works pretty well for just being a cut and paste job. Alright, so Scandinavia... Create land. It does actually create water lands. I'm going to have to specify a position for those, otherwise that's going to cause issues. But we're going to skip doing that for now. Actually, what are the players? Create player lands. We're going to go put them in here. Then we're going to go min placement distance. I've always wanted to do this. And that's something that'll do. Doesn't even need to be much. 3. Just to keep it out of... I don't even know if it's necessary. Let's do one side only. Yeah, you can have override map sites anywhere. I could put it in the same place. Honestly, min placement distance wasn't even needed. I could... Since it can be anywhere, I could put this... There's no need for this to actually be grass. The blocker we could put... The blocker, I mean, that's just... We don't need that until right at the end when we actually make the map. Well, we can do that. This enlarged map could probably be cleaned up a bit. It has stuff from Hyperrandom in that we don't need. And has extra sizes supported that don't work on the standard maps. But if we did something like that for the copy-paste, go to Scandinavia, we go... Scroll, 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 scroll. We do not need min placement distance, in fact. Yeah. Zoomed in on the map. That's the Scandinavia. Now we do have the beach on the outside. And I think you just leave it probably, or put the rocks on. Mononocular telescope. I wonder if someone hides villagers there, or you might be able to dock it here because it's shallow water. Yeah, that we need to deal with. And the water is doing spacing to other terrain types. That's why you made your ring out of deeper water, right? Instead of making it out of black terrain right away. Water maps will need a bit more work. Because now we have less deep water than we would have otherwise. What do we have in the way of terrains? Water 2D shoreless? Still be docked though, right? That's the issue. Yeah. What's the ID for this one? Terrain names. Well, if the water was everywhere on the outside, though... Let's try water 2D shoreless is 15. If we did... Terrain generation... If we just did a... What is the connection generation on this map? Doesn't exist. Nice. If I just pop a connection generation somewhere. Connect all layers. Lands. Land. Well, you also don't want it to look like ships can be allowed to sail there. You could put... You could put the 2D shoreless... You could put the bridge water, the fake water, and then put terrain blockers on that so units don't walk on it. That probably still produces a beach or something dumb. Create... Alright, no, replace terrain beach with... What are we gonna call this? Const? Yes, that's true. That's true. Also, what I'm doing here won't work for other terrains as well. Yeah. I will play around with this as well. Make a couple of fun maps out of it. Place terrain beach with shoreless water. Terrain size, whatever. Snow. 9999. I did something like that. Let's see if that works. Well, we got rid of the beaches. In this case, it works because the beaches are icy. Not bad. Units... Cannon Galleon? Nice. I mean, that works. I count that as a great success. We made Scandinavia round. Alright, thanks for joining. I will probably call it a night myself soon. I have shown the concept can work. Even for some maps where you might not think it'll work. Yeah. Like the water maps that don't have icy beaches, that's gonna require a little bit more work. This I'd say is good. There's the issue of the spacing, but it's fine. It's fine. Alright, so basically I just need to check my round map template. Overriding the size, but I don't need to override the amount of resources nor anything else that I'm doing. So I could simplify this some more. Map size puny doesn't exist. We can actually, let's just keep the whole code in there. We do need to enlarge the map for sure. I think we can just... I mean, I guess... Yeah, we are going to be enlarging the map for sure, so we will do that because we have less area. Although there's certain maps, like Socotra, I suppose, there's no need to enlarge the map. We'll keep it around like this. Yes, yes. We are making round maps. Around Scandinavia. I feel like I want to do Nomad as a finishing up thing to do here. Take a look. So if we just did Nomad. We did. We did get around to doing this. So, DRS... I don't know, I need Nomad. I need to copy Nomad. Network test Nomad, good. Rename Nomad. Nomad, good. I don't know yet. I'm just experimenting right now, but it worked for Arabia. It worked for Hideout. It worked for Scandinavia. Not tonight, but I think I will try to make a map pack of like the common maps that are played. You know, 10 or 15. Make them round. At least all the ones where it kind of works. Alright, so we have Nomad. I think I'm going to radiate my solutions into many different directions. And then we just need to circumscribe any problems that we run into. Pop that right at the beginning. Doop. The end if jumped up. Oh no, it didn't. We end if. There's an end if missing. Yep. Well, if you hang around a bit more, I will do one or two more of these. Otherwise, I was about to call it a night, but when someone's watching, it's always a good idea to... Always motivation to do a bit more. Let's say that in... Put in this code. Sort of somewhere down, not here, not here. Something like that. The hyperrandom update happened. I even messaged you about this, but you were probably busy at the time. But it happened a week or two ago. I think I messaged you. Did I? Yeah, I did. It wasn't a big message, but I did update it. There are now new versions of hyperrandom available. With the deathmatch changes, and also with extra small hyperrandom. Light, what do we have here? Light, yeah, this is annoying. Micro. You have the extra small hyperrandom. Yep. Yeah, I can send you what I did. But I had a bunch of different updates, but I put in all the DM changes that we had. Plus any that didn't make it into the event, like the random hero boats. And then I did some more stuff to make maps more open sometimes, and added the tiny hyperrandom just for fun. Even though this is not guaranteed to be balanced. But it was fun to make. But yeah, it's updated, it can be used. We'll generate maps. Well, technically, not really, but you can put 8 players on it. There isn't room for them, but it depends on what you call working. it will generate, and hopefully everyone will get a town center. Experience absolute chaos, but there's also the slightly larger variant. Yeah, that doesn't help much here when you have 8 players on it, but it's technically larger. Yeah, no, it will work. I initially had some issues where players sometimes didn't get a TC, but that they should always happen now. They'll just be shooting at each other right at the beginning. Yeah, no, you could definitely have some fun with this. Okay, this has gotten larger. They did something wrong here. Go to this one. I will try to check it out on Monday. And everyone even gets their paladin hero. Boyar hero. Or their 9 villager start. Oh my god. Chaos. Chaos. Chaos, I tell you. You can technically even get the double or triple TC. Start on the tiny size. Okay, we had something that looked like that. But there's sort of a limit to what you can fit, but it'll be chaotic. Alright, I'm going to go back to my nomad that I was going to do. Okay, there's one problem with this stuff happening, but that can be fixed. Actor. Or area 999. Create object. Now let's figure object rock. Area to place in. There we go. It'd be fun just to put waterfalls on the edge. Okay, there are of course shorefish at the edge now, but I wonder if I could. Let's just be silly. What's the ID for the waterfall? DE only. Waterfall. 896. 896. All right. 8. No. Nope, don't do that. Const waterfall. Let's try that. Hey. Well, maybe? Ah, there's a relic out here. That's no good. Go away, relic. You're not supposed to be there. Kind of. They all face the same direction, though. That's a bit of an issue. Can't... Doesn't the waterfall rotate? Probably. And the shorefish were appearing on them. We would need a giant turtle, though. Rotate. I could have the waterfall... I could pick a rotation for the waterfall for each side. But how would we do it on the top? Giant turtle. What could we... Do we have anything that looks like a turtle? Other... Gaia. Yeah, the perspective is the issue. I mean, you could also make the outside terrain like green with black or something. Cactus, walker, box turtles, You could, but... You could fill the outside with gold mines. Head. No pagodas. Ooh, it's too big. I think rock 2 might be better than the first rock. These rocks are a bit grassy and big. Rock formation, no. Waterfall background. Waterfall overlay. What's it called? DLC Rock A? DLC African Rock? No? Rock. Check this. Sea rocks? No. Sea rocks? Projectile? Rock 1? No. Rock? Dome of the Rock? No. No. Rock 2? Use 1300. DLC Boulder A. That's not it. That's the brown rock. No. DLC Rock Beach. Rock Jungle. Rock 2. 1323. Const Rock 2. 1323. Rock 2. I mean, you could paint something in the black terrain. It doesn't need to be black as such. You could have some sort of logo or turtle arms or whatever there. You could have a tournament logo there, maybe. You don't have so much. You only have 100 pixel resolution though in the whole minimap. There's a limit. Alright, good luck. I might be done in a bit. Or I might go to bed in a bit. Let's just see if my rocks look good. Yeah. That's good. You could have something here, like if you did layering mode, and then we need sort of a green grass jungle, like sort of. Yeah, you could do something. Some turtle fins here. And then down here you put like a beak shape thing. There is potential. I'm not sure I could make it quite this pixel perfect. Put like a legs at the back. There we go. Now we can test this thing in Capture Age. Test. Alright, I need Capture Age. Capture Age. I need to hide Notepad. And to show Capture Age. There we go. Ah, it doesn't show up on Capture Age. Well, it will when you zoom out. Kinda? I mean, it would be possible to do something like this. Maybe I'd have to figure out. Well, some of the black tiles just wouldn't be black, and that would probably still be fine. Take a screenshot of this for fun. Save as. I got a turtle nomad save. Actually, if I just keep Capture Age open, and I generate some of the other maps. No, go away, Capture Age. I need the game. Where's the game? So you will still see Capture Age because it's in the front. And I will see the game, and I can generate one of the other ones that we were working on. Generate Scandinavia. Then I can test it, and it will turn up in Capture Age again. Looks good. It's a bit too forested, I think. Well, Scandinavia does have a lot of wood lines. Scandi. And let's take a picture of Hideout. We did Hideout too, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it will need some fine-tuning for all the maps. This was just sort of a proof of concept to show that it can be done without being too much work. Hide. Let's do 2 players on Arabia. I did it for Snow Arabia, didn't I? Yeah, a bit of adjustments will be needed for everything. Alright, take a screenshot of this and then I'm done. No circle. Quick capture age, bloop. Quick current game, bloop. Anything else you want to see? Do. Otherwise, I will go to bed. I think. Yeah. Let me actually fix my Snow Arabia. We're gonna file save a copy as Snow Arabia dash Snow Arabia circle. Then we're gonna go undo. Save that. Snow Arabia is now fixed. Now I can do Snow Arabia circle. And I can go back to my original Snow Arabia. It's a square. Good. We have made some circular maps successfully. That's it for tonight. Probably I'll stream again later this week or maybe on the weekend to do more of these circle maps and actually make a map pack. Because I think there's potential here and it's been fun. So everyone have a good night. I'm heading off.